Hi guys, as promised in the last video, we will now look into the complex examples of tones. So far we've done the concept of tones, we've understood what is a negative tone, what is a neutral tone, and what is a mixed bag of tones, which has all different kinds of tones which we have individually discussed. Then we did a few simple examples wherein we had 4 options. We started with eliminating 1 or 2 options. Next step was finding the synonymous options. The third step was eliminating synonyms from the option and coming into the right answer with respect to the context. Now, the difference with the complex examples is I'm not going to give you any options. So you cannot follow the method of elimination here. Now you will ask, why is that, why am I doing this when cat always has options? The reason behind me doing this is very simple, guys. The question of tone is something which you should know how to answer even if there is not a direct question in RC. So for example, you have an RC which is 4 questions. None of those 4 questions ask you what is the tone of the passage. But still, if I pick up any such passage and ask you, okay, what is the tone of this passage, you should know the answer. This is because the tone is going to tell you what is the general idea, what is the specific idea, and the tone will be able to answer most of your questions. So if you know it's a negative tone, you know that all your answers should be in sync with that kind of a tone. Hence, it is absolutely necessary that you directly know the answer of every tone. Alright, so let's move forward. So this is the first example that we are taking. 47% of Americans do not pay income tax. They believe that they are victims of an unjust system and owe nothing to the government. Now you may say, I was saying I'll give you complex examples. Now this is a one-line statement. But the complexity is you do not have options. So I'll give you 5 seconds to think about what are the options which can be the answer for this particular RC. Yeah. So could you think of something? Let me tell you the answer. So the answer is subjective, opinionated, or dogmatic. Now you will tell me that all these 3 words are not synonyms of each other. How is it that these 3 are answers? Now the point over here, my friends, is any of these 3 can be answers in context of what is there above or below this statement. This statement can be subjective, because maybe they want to say that 47% of Americans do not pay income tax, alright? Because they believe that they are victims of an unjust system, which means that Americans believe that they are victims, but maybe other residents of America are not. So subjective can be a tone. It depends on what is there above or below this kind of a statement. How can it be opinionated? How can it be this can be opinionated if this particular statement, they believe this particular part is also the opinion of the author. Now how will you judge that? You will judge that because somewhere in the passage he'll also mention that he also supports the fact that people do not pay income tax. Alright, so that will be opinionated. Now let's talk about dogmatic. What was dogmatic? If you guys want to recall, dogmatic was something which was very narrow-minded, which was closed, not open to new thinking, innovation, etc. So this will be dogmatic because people are still feeling, despite everything, despite all the advancements, they are feeling that they are victims of an unjust system. Now, if they feel that they are victims of an unjust system, that means they are absolutely not open to looking at what the government is doing for them, what advancements it is bringing in the society. So, any of these 3 options can be the answer depending on what is there above or what is there below this kind of a statement. So, now you understand the complexity of this exercise. We have to find out all possible tones in all most possible contexts for these kind of statements. So, we'll be taking 3 examples. This was the first example, and 3 more are to come. Next, go to the next example. Apple only allows the apps approved by the company to run on its platform. There is a particular convention that an app has to follow in order to gain approval. No external party has the freedom to run its app on iOS. Alright. So, again, take 5 seconds to see what would be the tone for this. Yeah. So now if you see, if I tell you the tone is objective, I'm pretty sure this was a very clear kind of a tone, because the author is neither narrating something, neither is he telling the process of which Apple works, neither is he telling his opinion on whether this process is good or bad or not, nor is he telling the pros and cons of it to you. So this is a completely objective kind of narrative, because he's just telling you what all is the process. Is this factual? No, because this is not a fact. When it talks about the fact that there is a particular convention, this is not a fact. He's just telling you as objectively as he can that there is a convention which Apple follows. So in such a situation, it is necessary that you eliminate all the options that come to your head. Now, even if there would have been some facts above or below that Apple is the biggest company or biggest smartphone seller and all that, that is not the main idea, right? The main idea is Apple does not allow anybody and everybody, any Tom, Dick and Harry to come and have its apps on iOS. There is a particular system which they have to follow. So the main idea is this. Now, irrespective of this, whatever is there above or below, the specific ideas, that does not matter. Their tone also do not matter. What matters is what is the tone of the main idea. Alright. Now let us move forward. This is the third example. Just have a look at it. I'll give you 7 to 8 seconds for this. Yeah, so have you read this? So what do you think according to you would have been the tone for this particular passage? If you see very clearly, you'll be able to see certain kinds of criticism here. You see, what's the use of being a law minister if you can't be a law unto yourself? The first line itself shows displeasure of the author for the law minister. It says, what is the use of being a law minister if you cannot yourself follow a law which you created, or a law which is being created over time? So it says there was kind of a war cry for Aap, law minister. It was a war cry that the Jhadu symbol will be an angel, right? He will be cleaning up the city. But do you see what they are doing? They are actually only focusing on swooping up and sweeping away the sex rings which are flourishing around the city. So, as the chief vigilant officer, as he reports, he says that you've heard for the witness of a prosecution. Our Mantriji has created a new legal entity for himself, a witness of the prostitution. He has vowed to weed out prostitution from the city. Now, if you see, this is extreme criticism, extremely rude and mean. Look at the last line. He is a witness of prostitution. He has vowed to weed out prostitution. Now, obviously, this whole thing is very sarcastic in nature. Not only sarcastic, it is demeaning. It is rude, it is harsh to the next level. So it is going to be an acerbic kind of a tone. Next, if I talk about criticism, if you notice, whatever he is doing, if every particular fact of the minister is being criticized, be it their symbol of Jhadu, be it their sweeping away sex rings, be it their the new legal entity which he has created, be it his vow of weeding out prostitution, no matter if there was even a 1% positivity in the whole thing, nothing of it is being reported. The whole passage here is doing criticism of what Mr. Bharti has done, what the law minister of Delhi has done, what is the role of Aap in it, what is the role of their symbol in it, what is the role of their promises. Everything according to him is a bad thing. So it is a criticism. Now let's talk about opinionated. Now under opinionated, if you see, this particular person has very strong opinions on the fact that whatever Mr. Bharti is doing is not even wrong. It is ironical also, and it is also he's making a mockery out of it. So his opinions are very strong. This whole passage talks about the author's opinions. So the tone is going to be opinionated because he is going to give you his staunch opinions to your face blatantly. Alright. So this is one of the most interesting examples that we're going to do because this is the most slippery territory. I have tried time and again to explain the difference between the two possible answers, which are the answers of this particular passage. But I am pretty sure that there will be a lot of confusion between those two words. So I'm just giving you an example because this is going to be our last example for tones. I want you to clearly understand all the differences at this particular point itself. So I'll give you 7 to 10 seconds. Just have a look and read this particular passage. Alright, so this particularly passage talks about what happens during poll times. During poll times, host of ancillary industries also boost bipartisan password to victory, or that is growth. So what they do is, whenever there are pole times, there are many industries which are related to the poles, or due to the poles many industry also grow. This is what they are trying to say. They're not talking only about the money that is released officially, but also there is some kind of money which is given in black, which is the unofficial amount of money in the elections. So it says that it includes all the areas of the economy. So it is not just one or two industries or one or two areas of economy which are also growing because of the poll elections. There are many areas. So he gives the example of restaurants. He tells you that they feast on the gravy train by polarizing their menus. Like they change their menus over time. So the menus become Modi Makhni. Then it's a pure veg menu. So it has Sev Gathia of Congress. And Dhokla is there, and Rahul Rara is there, which is lamb morsels. Then there is Amras of pulped kejri. Instead of keri, he has said kejri. There's Mamta Jal, is a snack that only sustains the masses of Kolkata. So all these things, if you see, then it's kind of making fun, right? I hope all of you agree that this passage is making fun of what happens during poll times. It is sarcastically saying ancillary industries. Now, ancillary industries are what? Ancillary industries are industries which thrive on each other. So, if you have, suppose, an industry which makes guns and another industry which makes bullets. So, these both of them are ancillary industries. They go hand in hand. So, he's making fun saying that poll times lead to growth of ancillary industries. In the growth of ancillary industries. This is the first point where he's making fun. If you come down, you see he's completely making fun of every politician that he knows. Mr. Modi, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, and Mr. Kejriwal from AAP. He's making fun of and Mamta Banerjee. He's making fun of every political party, of every politician also. So I'm giving you two options. People will say that this is sarcastic. Okay, now why is it sarcastic? Because obviously it is making fun, it is a mockery, it is demeaning. Can I say it is sarcastic? Yeah, I can definitely say it is sarcastic. But why was I saying that there were two words which are going to be confusing? So let us come to the last slide for the session. So this is the reason is some people will say that this is satirical, some people will say because it is sarcastic. Now you tell me what is the right answer. First let us recapitulate what is the difference between sarcastic and satirical. So satirical was something which is making fun of somebody with the hope of improvement, with trying to improve that person or improve the state of that particular condition which is being made fun of. Sarcasm is just plain mockery, just demeaning somebody. Now how do I decide whether this is satirical or sarcastic? Now this completely depends on the context again. If after this particular author talks about how the black money release can be reduced, how the politicians can be stopped from having such kind of a impact on the industries around them, how the bipartisan should be reduced. So all this will show that the above mockery, the above making fun was done with the intention of laying some ground of how things can be improved during poll times. Exactly, during poll times. So this is the reason that this will then become satirical. If the passage ends only over here, does not have any other context above or below, this is just sarcasm. The author just wants to say that see, this is the particular state, this is what people are doing, this is the condition, this is what politicians are doing, and this is the sorry state of Indian politics. That is all. He does not care whether it is improving or not, who is getting elected, who has become the prime minister, he does not care. Then it is sarcastic. Alright. So friends, I hope you have clearly understood the types of tones, which type of tone is used when and in what context. How do you go about finding out the right answer for tones? First of all, as I told you, if there are options given, first of all, eliminate the ones which are the farthest away from the answer. Second step is finding all the synonyms from the given answers. Third step is from within the synonyms, you have to find out how do you eliminate one or two or three or whatever the options are there. Alright, so context is important, as I said. Understanding every option is important. Knowing the meaning of every option is important. So I really suggest that all of you go back to Google out a list of all the tones and try to fit them in all the types which I have given you so far under mixed, neutral or negative. So I'll see you in the next video, guys. We are nearing the end of RCs. This is the end for tones, and now we'll be having the next video soon, which will be a new topic. Alright, thank you guys. Have a good day.